What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon, and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about Life Seemed Good, but by Richard Bell. So this book was given to me in exchange for an honest review, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing, and this book was definitely out there. It's a collection of over 90 short stories, and they are definitely meant to be read in that order. They all kind of like lend heavily off of each other, and they're all very strange. No two are exactly like the other one. There's a lot of weird things that happen going on there, but they're all similar in that they're all kind of saying something, and you can sometimes glean what they're saying. Sometimes there's a little bit of commentary going on behind it, but I do think having the knowledge that the author Richard Bell wrote these while him and his wife were going through this very hard time in their lives definitely brings some of that out. Like, some of these are very cynical, some of them kind of have a bittersweet twist to it, and it's all very on the nose of life seemed good, but something happened. Now, I would definitely say this book is what I would describe as like a modern version of Grimm's fairy tales. If you've ever tried to sit down and read Grimm's fairy tales, it is very hard to do because those stories are very crazy. If you try to read it like a book, it just doesn't work. There's way too many stories. You definitely have to sit down, read them individually, think about it, move on. There's a reason that they've been adapted so much. It's because there's so many great elements in it, but also if you try to pull them out and adapt them now, it gets a little bit weird. Life Seemed Good is definitely like that, in that this is supposed to be a book that you just take your time with. You definitely should read these like a few at a time, or maybe just one story at a time, really think on it, really sit on it, and just let that be it. That was how I was reading this book. However, I wanted to just hurry up and finish it because I was starting to get a little burnt out on it because every story is so different. There are so many of them. I was feeling like I wasn't making progress. And I think that has to do with the reason that I was trying to read it like a book. I was sitting down and I was reading it like it was a book and not like it was a collection of stories. And so I got about halfway through the book, and then I just decided I was going to hurry up and finish it. I read through like the last half of it, and I do feel like I missed out. I do feel like I should have really taken my time on it, and that's something that I didn't do. But I will say that this book will not be for everyone. It is very interesting. It's very cool. I definitely like that I have this book because I can now go back in my own time and think on some other stories and like maybe pick a few out that I want to read, especially since you have to read them in order. So now that I kind of know the order, I can go back and pick a few out. But this won't be for everybody. They are very strange. They are very out there. They are very random. If you are not willing to sit down and take your time with it, to really think about these stories, to really just kind of absorb and figure out what they're trying to tell you, this will not be the book for you. I think when I read this book initially, I was not the person for this book, but I did like it, actually, strangely enough. I know it probably sounds like I didn't like it, but I did like it. I thought it was interesting, and it was very unique in a way. It's definitely a book that I am glad that I read, and I do not regret that I read. I just wish that I could have read it in a different way. I was so determined to read it like a book, but really, this is a collection of stories, and you really should treat it as such. Because of all of that, I am giving this book a C- because the stories are very random. They're very weird. They seem out of place, even though you can tell that there is some sort of order to them, but it does get frustrating. It definitely is something that you need to like be prepared and well aware of, and I feel like most people aren't going to feel that when they're going into this book, so that does get a little bit frustrating. But overall, you can definitely see a glimpse into the author's mind. You can definitely see what it was like for him going through this hard time in his life, and I feel like you can really see his personality start to shine through. I wish we could have gotten more of that. There are some stories that are told from first person where it really does feel like he's talking to you. I wish we had more stuff like that instead of randomly talking about rabbits and cows named Ernie and like all that kind of stuff. But it is interesting. I don't know if I would recommend it, but if you feel like you're up for the challenge, then I would definitely take a shot at it because I don't regret reading it, and I definitely don't think you guys would either. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every Monday. That is everything I got for you today, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!